my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So I'm wearing my fabric stashing t-shirt because, you know, fabric stashing, collecting is a different hobby than actually making things with it. So just a reminder from what I said on Monday, which I'm going to just give a little wrap up on that at the end. So today is what's in your closet. We're on block 12, which we're moving quite along, aren't we? So block 12 is called leisure wear. You know, leisure wear. Were you around in the, I think it was really popular in the 70s and 80s, polyester kind of outfits. Men wore them, women wore them, the leisure wear. So so it's an easy block, super easy block. So I have to tell you this story about leisure wear because my Nana, which is my mom's mom, neither of my grandmothers sewed, they didn't like to cook, they didn't do any of those kind of things. You know, no crafts, no making, no anything. And so my great grandma, her mom passed away. And so Nana decided that she would learn to sew as therapy. And I was going to college. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to what my grandmother was doing when I was going to college. I didn't see her that much, just occasionally when I would come back in. She actually lived across the street from my husband, Greg, who wasn't my husband yet, but we were dating. And so when I was there, I was more interested in dating than what my grandmother was doing. But she made leisure suits. That's what she did. She made leisure suits. And I'm sure somewhere I have a photo. I can see the photo in my head. So I need to go find that someday. So before I put the blocks up on the wall for what's in your closet, let me just show you what this, you saw the, I knew that was going to be a problem. I hung that on there. Okay, so I showed you these little churn dashes, or they're shoe flies, these little shoe fly blocks, the little shoe fly blocks. And so I'll take those all down now. Yeah, they're cute. But I finished the tulip. Top. But it needs to be wider. Not longer, it's long enough. I didn't make the top and bottom as long as they have it in the pattern. I made them shorter, but I needed like 3 inches, at least 3 inches wider. And so the fabric that came with it, if I just added that, I'd already cut it. Wish I hadn't cut it, but I cut it. See, this is why I don't cut things in advance. So I could go just find in my stash something else. There was not enough of this, so I had to find something else. But I'm debating now because also in the next box, they're using that fabric again in this box. And so I could just take it from this box because I would want to do a little bit wider border all around. I could just take it from in here, that particular one. And then I might have enough to do a binding if I kind of work at it, or maybe I'll do like a green binding. Yeah, I could just pull some green from my collection, So that's the kind of dilemma I'm in right now, is I need it just a wee bit wider than this for my door. Okay, now I'm gonna take all this down and we will make a leisure suit block. I thought I'd just check first before I put this away. It's not that big a piece. I don't think it's going to help me. So, I mean, it is, but it's not. I mean, you're doing a lot of, yeah, it's just not quite enough. The other one they had extra because, a bigger piece because it was also for the binding. So I'm going to look for a pink to put around the tulip, some pink that I have, and then keep this for the binding, which will pull it together. So I think that's what I'll do. That's the plan. So there are all the blocks so far, and on our diagram, we are on block 12. But I have some sashing to do down here, which I'm also going to do today. Plus I want to figure out how many more of these squares I need, because I have some made, but not enough. And I want to get those out and by the machine, so as I'm sewing things, they will get figured out. So let's take the other camera because I want to look at color. So the block will go here, and I've got blue above it, black over there. So I might pull some of the tans. Maybe do this block in tan and black right here. And then down on this section, I think I'm pretty much going to go with the blues for the sashings, and maybe pop a tan in every so often. Now, I've got, with this, I'd like to use this again. That sort of mosaic tile kind of thing in the yellowy background. I'd like to use that down here somewhere again. And then I would like to use it again over here because that'll have it in 3 places. I'm just checking because I thought I already had it in 2, but I don't. So that would be 1, 2, and then 3, because our eye finds odd numbers 3, 5, 7 as very appealing, and so that's what I want to do with that one. And I've already got 2 tans, tan right there and tan here, so I just need a 3rd tan over here, and that will be nice. So I'd probably be enough tan. Everything else will be the shades of blue for the sashing, and I think that keeps it really light, rather than using the blacks or the really dark navies for the sashing. So first, let's make the block. If you have a design wall like I do and you are able to just pin your chunks of fabric in there, it lets you see the colors. Now, I was looking at possibly using this one, but that's used right there on that block. And so I don't want them like this. So I'll reserve that if I'm going to use it down here. And this will give a little bit more of the black tan to this spot. And the block is pretty filled up with those fabrics. There's not a lot of background showing in this particular block. So I'm going to go ahead and use those 2. A couple of tips here. These sizes, note they're 2" and these are 3.5 by 5. So this is a 3.5 by 3.5, but in order to get this chunky shape, you need this to be 5. So just be aware when you're cutting, because you can easily just go 2.5 in your head, something like that. So it's not that way for this one. Then for my fabric layout, I thought, okay, I just happened to cut a strip and there were these 2 images, like further up. It was that part of the repeat. And I thought, oh, cool. And so I originally was laying it out like this, and I thought, well, I just would like that in this upper, what is that, left? I'm upside down, upper left corner. But then I'm looking at it and thinking, oh, it's just kind of symmetrical. I don't know that I like that. And so here we go. If I rotate it, then they're like a they're like a flower spray, going opposite from the center, which I think is really pretty. The other thing I decided to do is when I was cutting these pieces, I didn't want to cut something from here because that would make all of this very dark. Let me just show you. If I had cut the piece like here, the visual is this kind of like dark chunk, which I no likey that. So I think this, so I purposely went where there was more open and there was like a branch that would kind of like be a continuation. So that's something to look at with your fabric, with a pattern where you have like a big chunk of fabric and how they interplay to each other when they're side by side. Now, if they're paisleys, I'm not worried about it at all. They just kind of blend in. But this is a much more significant print with a high contrast of that flower against the light background. One last interesting thing I did here is I originally had these placed, these little pieces I just talked about. But when I laid them back down just now after sewing the units, I did this. And I went like, oh wow, that one kind of matches up in not perfectly, but in kind of an interesting way. So I did a little audition where I just sort of folded it over to see what it was going to do. And I thought, oh, that's kind of nice because it's going to suck up the seam allowance of that flower a bit anyways. And then this one over here, the same dealie, and actually it looks more like it's coming out of there. So they're better placement. So sometimes it's worth just checking everything for placement before you sew. Leisure wear, here we go. I love having these opposite, and those little tricks made the seams for me look a little bit nicer. Okay, so 2 things. One, were a bunch of you yelling, top right, top right. Did you notice I have that blue-yellow strip right here? but I also have that rotated wrong. So I was just looking here just now before I started filming again, and I thought, why is that strip so wide? It's not supposed to be that wide. Yeah, because I've got it rotated wrong. So I'm going to rotate it and put the Alicia wear up there. Crazy. I pinned it. And now up here, this is rotated properly. And that block will go directly against that sashing that's already there. There'll be a long sashing down here for the 4-block unit you can see on the pattern. Okay, so now let's go take a look at your blocks from last week, a little quilt parade. Alice's gorgeous block with the green, looks like snowflakes in the corner. I don't know if your whole quilt has got that kind of Christmas vibe. It's going to be so pretty. Betty's, oh, I love how she changed out the 4 sides to be a different color than the background. That gives it like a circle effect. Very cool. Debbie is so pretty. That really pretty light green in there. Love that. And then here are all of hers together. She has a poppin' wall on there. Wow, they really pop off of there. Love them together. And here's another Debbie. Beautiful, beautiful roses. I recognize that fabric. That's mine. Promise me, is the florals and the corners. Love it. Love it, love it. Doriana is got this cute shoe fabric. I have that shoe fabric. And look at the little rainbows and the square triangles. Love them. Love them. Jennifer said she had to get the kitty heads in, and this is a perfect block for it. Look at that fussy cutting. Karen's gorgeous purples. I love these bottles. Yeah, potions. Potions. And then here are all hers together. This is looking so good. The black and white checkerboards and in some of the sashings really set it off. Kendall, our ambassador, with his red, white, and blue. These are going to look so amazing together. Remember to visit his channel, and if you're outside the U.S., Kendall does have a website where he has a store, an online store, Quilting Basics, where he sells some of my fabrics from Australia. So if you get shipping from Australia, visit Kendall. Lynette's, she also did her 4 sides differently, and you can see the birds. Now watch, she's got the whole thing, so we can see the whole thing together. There, look at that. Gorgeous, so gorgeous. Okay, who do we got next? Melissa, our ambassador, with the bears. I think you've all been following her bears to see where they pop up. This is going to be so cool to see it all together, Melissa. Mickey did this. She shared the whole side panel, and you can see the block, our hand-me-downs block in the bottom right. This, she said, was out of her comfort zone. So she wanted to try something a little different. It's turning out spectacular. Rosemary, gorgeous. I love that yellow and blue, that marbly blue. And then she has her group of blocks together. Lovely. Wow, they look really good. Sandy's beautiful, beautiful tan. I love that floral. That looks so pretty. And a different Sandy. She has gold tones. They are also gorgeous. Gorgeous hand-me-down blocks. Let's see, we've got Sharon's with the kitties in the middle. I love the kitties. And purple. Got to see purple. And Shirley's beautiful corners. Oh my goodness, that fabric is so neat. And then all of hers together. Look at this with the aqua. So nice. Aqua and gold. This is really a good colorway. Val's. This has got the chevron block. The 4 blocks are the chevron fabric and those little flowers in the corner. So pretty. Vicky's using some of my drawing room, and she's fussy cut the medallion pieces. They look fantastic. And then for hand-me-downs, when I first did this as the solstice, they didn't have a name. They were just like block 22 or whatever. And so here I had used some of these like Adirondack chair fabric, and mine is all red and white primarily for the solstice that we did many years ago. It's the first Block Wednesday that I ran. So I've been sharing pictures because all these blocks for this one are from that Quilt Along. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Thank you to everybody for sharing your blocks. They are so fantastic. I really appreciate that, and so does everybody else. I think you love these quilt parades. Okay, on the back of your pattern is a block and repeat. And I did a little drop setting, and a drop setting means that there'll be half blocks so that they're not side by side on the layout. They are dropped, you know, so you've got them going up and down, which is so fun. And I do have a little extra something. In my Tantalizing Table Topper book, I use this block for one of the projects. So here it is. Ta-da! Okay, I loved making this. It was a great line, wonderful fabric line from Gingerbur from, I don't know, 2019 maybe. Yeah, when I was doing the book. Maybe from 2018. It was a little while ago. So I put polka dots with it. And then the backing is this really shimmery, look at that. That's so fun. So this table topper, it's a big table topper, but I have a big round table in my dining room, so it fits really nicely in that. This is also a great size for a baby quilt, or you could just do 4 of these, and it would be like a bed quilt. Do 2 of them, and one on the bottom, one on the top, and without the border, of course, in the middle. And that would be a nice lap quilt. Yeah. So if you have my book, you can look in there for a supply list for that size. It's in here, the supply list, and all the other book things that come, like there's pressing directions and things like that. So all the other book type things. Okay, also today it is Farm Animal Day. So you want to share your quilts with farm animals. And I know it could be actual images, barns, animals, chickens, whatever, pigs. Or it could be quilts with that fabric in it, cow fabric, whatever. So I would love to see what you're doing. Many years ago, I did a quilt with cow fabric. It was before digital cameras, so it was cow hide, like black and white spots. Anyways, it was super fun. It was quirky and neat to do. There's probably a physical picture somewhere in my stack of pictures. It is also Sibling Day. Do a shout out to your siblings. I have 2 brothers. They're both younger than me. One of them has passed away, so I don't have Mike anymore, but I have Tom, and he's the youngest. So if you have made a quilt for your siblings, and I've made quilts for mine, share a sibling quilt today. Okay, I just wanted to give a little wrap up and thank you from Monday's video where I talked about my stack of fun things being too tall and tipping over and having way too much fun. I have to reduce down the amount of fun, which is, it takes a while. And this is something you don't do just once in your life. You will do it many times. And many of you have talked about you're kind of in the same spot, or you've been in the same spot, and it'll happen again. Fun will pile up. It could be just activities you're doing, committees you've agreed to be on because you want to help, and we think it'll be great. And sometimes we just take on too much, and that's the way of the world. You get it under control, and then a couple of years later you probably have to do it again, which is wonderful. But I felt bad in a way because I tell people what I'm doing here. I'm telling 100,000 people here on the video what I'm going to do, and then I have to come and tell 100,000 people I'm not going to do it. It's a little different than I'm just had a little sewing group of 5 friends, and I would just say I'm just not going to do that one. Yeah, I bought the fabric, but I'm not going to do it. I feel bad because I don't want you to I don't want you to think badly of me. I guess that's really what it is. So I'm hoping that you don't. It's just the way it is. And I'm, working on getting what I want to do in the future into a different scale of things, a different amount of things. Okay, my friend, I am excited about the Leisure Art block because it makes me think of my Nana. So I hope you enjoy making it. I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.